Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be filming today's video. One, because I think it'll help you. Two, because what I'm filming today is really going to help me and make my week so much smoother. So in this video, I'm filming a Sunday meal prep. With the meals that I'm prepping in this video, I had two goals. One is to create meals that my husband and I can enjoy together. And my second goal is to use up the extra produce that I have in their fridge. So here's everything that I have on the menu this week. I wanted to make something that we could either eat as a snack or kind of enjoy with yogurt in the morning. So I'm making a banana chocolate oatmeal loaf, which I'm really excited for. I also have a miso tahini veggie soup on here. There's a culinary nutritionist that I follow over on Instagram and TikTok, I believe. And she recently shared this sesame tahini miso soup. I think that was the full name for it. It looked so good. So I have to figure out how to recreate that by just using what I currently have. Also on the list, I have a veggie curry, which we're going to load up with a ton of fresh vegetables. And during the week, we can either have it with quinoa, some rice, or rice noodles. And that should be really good. And because the curry is just a ton of vegetables, when I go to serve it, I do want to enjoy some sort of protein with it. So I'm going to be making some shredded tofu. And then the very last thing I have on the list is this kale and white bean salad, which is so good. And of course, I'm going to be preparing a salad dressing to go with that. So that's everything that I'm going to be making in this video. So let's go ahead and get to cooking. Now, I don't want to rush myself while I'm cooking everything, but I want to be as efficient as possible. And in order to do that, I have to work smarter, not harder. So I decided to go ahead and get all of the prep work out of the way. So shredding my tofu, washing my veggies, chopping them up, all the things. So I started by shredding some fava bean tofu. I added some coconut aminos to it, smoked paprika, curry powder, onion powder, some olive oil, and black pepper. Then I just transferred it to a greased baking sheet and I popped it in the oven. I wanted to go ahead and get the tofu out the way first because I do need to use the oven for that banana chocolate oatmeal loaf that I want to make later. Next, I moved on to prepping the veggies that I'm going to use for that sesame tahini miso soup that I mentioned. And for that soup, I'm using some celery, carrots, I have some cabbage, garlic, and ginger. The next set of veggies that I wanted to prep were the vegetables that I'm using in my curry. I didn't have to mince any garlic and ginger because I had prepped that when I worked on the miso tahini soup ingredients. But now I just need to work on my bell peppers, some onions, and broccoli. And the last vegetable that I needed to go ahead and prep was some fennel, which I plan to use in my kale and white bean salad. Now that we've gotten all the chopping out the way, it is officially time to cook. And I'm starting with that veggie miso tahini soup, mainly because it is going to take the longest to simmer. So I just started by adding some avocado oil to my Dutch oven. Then I cooked up my onions, added in the carrots and celery, followed by the cabbage and garlic. Oh yeah, and I added in some of that ginger too. I sprinkled a little bit of salt on the veggies while I was letting them cook, and then I added in some red lentils, followed by some Better Than Bouillon low sodium vegetable base. I also added some onion powder, garlic powder, turmeric, and water. I stirred that up, covered it with a lid, and just let this cook down over low-medium heat for about 30 minutes, stirring occasionally. Next, I moved on to the curry that we're gonna enjoy this week because this will need about 15 to 20 minutes to simmer. So I just started by cooking down the bell peppers and onions and some turmeric, curry powder, and a curry paste. Also added that broccoli that we chopped up, some light coconut milk, and water. I just stirred that really well, covered it with the lid, gave our miso tahini soup a little TLC, and by now the tofu was done in the oven, which was perfect because I wanted to move on to my banana chocolate chip oatmeal loaf. In this first bowl is a mix of oat flour, cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda, and a little bit of salt. And this is some avocado oil, maple syrup, bananas, and applesauce. And last but not least, we have some chocolate chunks. And I do want to mention, because I have gotten some questions on where you can find what brands I'm using, my kitchenware, cookware, all the things. I'll have it linked in the description box, so be sure to check there. You can also find the measurements for these meals in there as well. Okay, back to this loaf. So I just whisked together everything in their respective bowls. Then I added the banana mixture to the oat flour, followed by those chocolate chunks. Now, if you saw my last What I Eat in a Week breakfast edition, I had made a blueberry version of this loaf. I didn't follow that recipe to a T only because I didn't want to add 1, as much oil as I used the last time, and 2, as much maple syrup that I used then too. And the main reason for cutting back on the amount of avocado oil that I used is, although it is considered a healthy fat, I am getting a decent amount of healthy fats by making this blended tahini and miso mixture that we're going to add to the pot that has the cabbage, lentils, carrots, and celery. This mixture is what adds the miso tahini to the veggie soup. So I'm adding that during the last 10 minutes that the soup is cooking, and then moving on to our curry, which is just about done. I added in some coconut sugar, coconut aminos, some black pepper, lime juice, and fresh basil. And thankfully, we don't have any more cooking to do. Now it's just prepping the salad dressing to go with our kale and white bean salad. And for the dressing, I use a mix of olive oil, maple syrup, lemon juice, Dijon mustard, garlic, nutritional yeast, some salt, and water to thin everything out. This dressing is so delicious, easy to put together, and as you see, the ingredients are very simple, so I highly encourage you to give it a try. Okay, and remember the fennel that I prepped? I added it to this kale and I just massaged that a bit. Then I threw in some cannellini beans and some roasted pumpkin and sunflower seeds. The banana and chocolate oatmeal loaf was done in the oven, so I just let that cool before cutting into it. So while I was waiting for that, I just went ahead and add everything that we had prepped, which had already been cooling, to these containers so that I can put them in the fridge or the freezer. And I know I'm going to get questions on these soup freezer containers. Again, I'll have everything linked in the description box in case you want to check them out. The last time I made this loaf, I didn't think to freeze them in these containers, but the sizing was perfect, and I could really tell that when I wanted to go enjoy a slice of the loaf, it would be so easy to pull it from here. And later that night for dinner, I was really excited to dig into the food because everything just looked so good. But I wanted to start off with the curry, and I just had that with some quinoa, added the shredded tofu on top along with some lime juice and a slice of that lime. I also added some cilantro and fresh basil. For breakfast one day this week, I decided to have a slice of the oatmeal loaf, which I just popped in the microwave to warm up. And I just served that with some high protein yogurt, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and some nut butter. Now for this kale and white bean salad, I just added a good amount to a bowl. I topped it with some quinoa for some added protein, along with some hemp seeds, more of those roasted sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, and then about 2 tablespoons worth of the salad dressing. I just really wanted to make this stretch because I plan to eat this at least 2 more times during the week. Y'all, I will be completely honest. The look of that tahini miso soup kind of scared me a little bit. I was a little nervous, but I was also like, girl, you just used all these vegetables. You cannot waste this. And it was only because of the look of the carrots. Had I used orange carrots instead of these purple, yellowish, reddish carrots, the look would have been there. But when I tell you the flavor in this soup was 10 out of 10. Listen, it was so good. I had topped it with some plant-based crumbles that I cooked in like an Italian seasoning blend to kind of have like an Italian sausage vibe. I also topped it with some fresh cilantro and black sesame seeds. I honestly have to make this again. Everything this week was so delicious. My husband and I both enjoyed it. He added his protein to these meals while I added my protein. Okay, y'all, I'm currently eating the last little bit of salad that I have in here. I'm just having it with a slice of bread. I put some dairy-free ricotta on here. And then I did have some more of that crispy shredded tofu, so I decided to throw it into the salad to add even more protein to it. But I just wanted to pop in and say thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that it inspired you you to make a plant-based meal or two. And don't forget to let me know if you like this style of content by giving this video a thumbs up or leaving me a comment letting me know below. And feel free to share more video ideas that you may find helpful for you on your journey, whether that's you taking on a fully plant-based diet or you're just wanting to incorporate more plant-based foods. I would love to hear from you and know what type of content it is that you want to see. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.